Okay, so I've been meaning to read this quote, Ilyenkov's quote, to y'all for a while, and it's going to add just a little bit more to what I've been talking about in the past couple of months. So observation and notion are categories expressing the socio-historic character of sensuality, the empirical form of acquiring knowledge, and not a psychological state of an individual. So this is a quote that I think precisely talks about the whole individuation process and how an individual is inseparable from the whole, which is the society he was born into, the community he was born into. And this reveals the connection and the relationship between the categories of the universal, the particular, and the singular. And I'm translating all of these from Russian. The category of the universal is the category of the whole, the genus, so to speak, the biggest family of things. The example that Engels was giving in the Dialectics of Nature, which he derived from Hegel, was the category of fruit. So we all understand what this category is, but nobody has ever eaten fruit as it is, fruit per se. We've only eaten special types of fruit, which is the second category, the particular or the special, which I am trying to remember as being one of the species. This is a lesser category, meaning that in relation to the whole, the universal, the special, the one of the species is going to be a smaller circle. If you imagine this as smaller circles within a bigger circle, so the biggest circle would be the universal. So fruit, if fruit is a universal category, then the special or of the species category is going to be, let's say, strawberries, because this is a type of a fruit, right? And then the singular or the individual of that would be a single piece of a strawberry fruit that you're going to eat for breakfast. And the singular is going to possess all of the qualities necessary and the nature, the essence necessary to belong to these bigger groups, the universal and the particular or the special. And again, I'm translating all of these terms very, very roughly from Russian. In Russian, these are the categories of всеобщее, особенное и единичное. If you guys want to look up these terms, whenever I try to look them up in dictionaries, they just give me these kind of words that I'm presenting to you today. So yeah, but the connection of the individual being the singular to the bigger universal, which is humanity, is providing us with the understanding that we all belong to this universal whole, and therefore all of our whims and fancies, all of our tendencies, they're all a part of that universal. They're all a part of that bigger whole. So none of the things that we do are going to be completely random. And remember a long, long time ago when I talked about lawlessness? So what I was trying to communicate back then was that lawlessness, as in randomness, is not really a feature of our universe. Everything that is random will become a necessity later on. This is a dialectical relationship between randomness and orderliness, or chaos and orderliness. But the same goes to individuals and humans. We all are a part of this genus, a part of this bigger whole, this universal humanity, and we cannot exclude ourselves from it in any way or form. We will always belong to this universal group. We will always share more than we don't with everybody who's a part of humanity. And notice how Ilyenkov, in this quote that I just provided, and I will put it in the description down below so you can review it, the socio-historic tendency is what Ilyenkov points out and emphasizes, because it's not just you right now in connection to the people who are in your geographical location. It is also the connection throughout history. It is all of the generations of people before you who contributed greatly to the way you perceive the world, to the way you act and behave in the world, etc., etc. This is why it is so funny to me when people deny their belonging to humankind and they deny their propensity towards certain ideological notions, etc., etc. So you've got to bear in mind that not only does it come with certain rights and privileges, it also comes with a responsibility. None of us can deny the participation in the class society. We must be a part of the class society. Otherwise, we're going to die. So we cannot exclude ourselves from the class struggle. So we need to understand which side we're on. And we cannot choose to be on the side of the bourgeoisie because nobody is inviting most of us. And we've got to realize that the bourgeoisie exists precisely because the working class exists. Without us, they're not going to exist. Without them, we are not going to exist as a working class. We're going to exist as a different quality. And going back to that quote one more time, the observation and notion, remember, which I told you about, Ilyenkov pointed out, were a necessary part of any kind of knowledge acquisition, which is kind of like duh. But observation, just as I pointed out, Ilyenkov mentions quite often, is not necessary in order to understand. You do not have to sensually, through your senses, get in touch with some kind of phenomena or some kind of objects in order for you to study them concretely. He does say that you can use other people's observations, and this can still lead you to the full conceptualization or understanding of the subject matter. This is possible because we exist as this universal humanity. And how we relate to it is not necessarily up to us, because we don't get to choose where and when we are born. We don't get to choose what kind of education we receive, etc., etc. Yes, some people may argue that the higher education people do choose, but the choices are still very, very limited, okay? Socioeconomic circumstances are going to limit your educational options. This is just the reality we have to face. But the true understanding and conceptualization can still be gained even from other people's words, which is a very, very good argument against using your lived experience as a criteria for truth, because everybody's lived experience as individuals, as units, as singulars from that bigger universal whole may differ, but the principles, the laws are going to be persistent because we just cannot escape the reality we're in. There is no escaping the matrix in the sense that we've got to understand the laws, and then we can maybe change little things here and there slowly over time before the quantity becomes a quality. And this is when the matrix is going to become something else. It's going to become a newer version of itself. So in a sense, we can escape the matrix by modifying the matrix, but we cannot modify the matrix without understanding its laws. So this is what all the people who study dialectical materialism insist upon. In order to change your reality, you have to understand the way it operates, and it operates using the same rules. They haven't changed for thousands upon thousands of years, arguably for eternity. So this is why you need to run and read dialectics, whether you're organizing or not, whether you're a communist or not. Dialectics are going to enlighten you and make your life easier and make you feel like you are a part of that bigger whole, not in any religious or mystical sense. It is just going to show you the logical conceptualization behind humanness, behind everything that we observe in the world as humans, we are able to observe in the world as humans. And this is going to help you set yourself free, because you will see that you cannot free yourself individually, that you have to do it with other people. So hopefully this made sense. I know this was all over the place, but let me know what you think. I hope you have a great day today. Consider supporting me on Patreon. Do take care of yourself and your community first. Subscribe to me on all the other social media accounts, even though I don't do much there. And I'll talk to you sometime later.